everyone. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So, today the topic that we are doing is the nature of sociology, and let's start with the topic. These are like my personal notes, so I'm sharing it with them. The sociology is considered as science because it employs systematic method of empirical investigation, rigorous analysis, and theoretical thinking to understand and explain social phenomena. Why sociology is considered as science? Because it employs, you all know what is employ means and stand for. It employs the systematic methods, right, of empirical investigation. What is empirical? That is there in the field. You go out in the field, and whatever investigation you're doing in from the field and from the why, because our in sociology the field of the social scientist uh, is the society. So society or the field is the area of our empirical study or investigation. Then we also do rigorous analysis, that is the same what natural sciences discipline used to do, and theoretical and thinking to understand and explain social phenomena. And then we are doing the theoretical thinking and making of theories, taking ideas from theories, and then whatever we are doing in this systematic method is for to understand and explain social phenomena. From an academically rich perspective, the arguments for sociology as science can be articulated through several key points that aligns with the principle of scientific method. So now it is saying, from academically rich perspective, the argument for sociology as a science can be articulated through several key points. And what are these points? Let's look one by one at them. First is empiricism and observation. Now, one of the central characteristics of any science is its reliance on empirical observation and data collection. Sociology, much like the natural sciences, use empirical method to observe, measure, analysis and social behavior and structure. These method includes survey, where we conduct a survey. So in sociology, in the discipline like sociology, which studied the society, we're going to conduct a survey in the society. So we're conducting the survey, which is a systematic collection of the data or collecting of the data from large group of people to gather statistical informations about attitude, behavior and demographic factors on social level or in a social group. Second is experiments. Controlled studies in which variables are manipulated to observe changes in social behavior, though less common in sociology due to ethical concern. This is one of the very, it can be looked at in the way of why sociology cannot be considered as science, because experimentation is very, very difficult in sociology. Whenever we do experiment, we actually tend to control the external forces, but in sociology it is very difficult to control any kind of forces, and hence it is very, very rare to have some kind of experiment in sociology. But then if someone, rare in the rarest of the cases, if someone and some sociologist is using an experimentation method, then it can also be categorized into the category of sociology as science. Now, field studies and ethnography. Direct observation of social interaction in their natural environment, often used to understand specific culture and communities. So, field studies and ethnography, whenever you go out in the field as a sociologist and social thinkers, we have a direct access to observation of social interaction in their natural environment. The natural environment for sociologist is their society, and often used to understand specific culture and community, and that natural environment give us access to be a part of it, and being part of the any social setting will give us access to a specific culture and community, whatever we are studying. Now, secondary data analysis. Secondary data analysis is the study of previously collected data and to identify patterns and trends in society. So the study of previously collected data to identify the patterns and trend in the society. So whether it is yet going in the same manner, or there has been some changes which are occurring in the pattern. So whatever there is changes in the social phenomena, we can know it through the secondary data analysis. Now, these empirical approaches are fundamental to scientific inquiry because they allow sociologists to gather evidences that support and refute theoretical claims about society. Now, these are very, very important tools and techniques and methods that actually supports our argument to make sociology as science. Now, the second point in sociology as science is because it use a systematic research method, and there are systematic research method in sociology. What are these methods? Like directly jump into these are quantitative methods and qualitative methods. In qualitative methods, we say sociologists use statistical technique to analyze quantitative numerical data, identify correlation, test hypothesis. These mirrors the use of mathematics and statistical analysis in natural sciences like biology and physics. So same quantitative methodology and methods we use in sociology, and in the third year you also have a paper on research methodology where you have a unit, and one sociologist any sociology student in their 3 years of tenure of graduation and post graduation in India, particularly in all the universities, did studies some part of mathematics, which is statistics, and use that methodology to study their sociological phenomena. Now, qualitative methods include in-depth interviews, focus group, ethnographies help uncover the meaning. Focus groups and ethnographies help to uncover the meanings, belief, and experiences that shape social behavior. Although these methods focus more on subjective meanings, they still follow systematic, transparent protocol for data collection and analysis, making the findings reproducible and verifiable. Now, third is the theoretical framework. So, in theoretical framework, these are systematic explanation that help sociologists to understand, predict social patterns and relationship and processes. So whatever already have been studied and given by a lot of sociologists after their social research, then that study can be used to start your work in today's time. So any sociologist can refers to the earlier produced data and work, and then it is going to help them to understand the things, understand any social phenomena, and also coming up with the new findings in their social research. So what are these theoreticals and theories that one can look up to, which is also which also makes sociology more inclined towards the sciences? These are functionalism, conflict theory, symbolic interactionism, for being some of the example. In functionalism, Durkheim particularly, he proposed this idea of functionalism there, where they see the system or society as a system of interconnected parts. So this is a society, but they are also interconnected. So this is how functionalists see everything is important, everything is interconnected, and this interconnections is the reason why society is maintained, the stability is maintained in the society. Now, conflict theory and conflict perspective says that there is inequality. They believe in conflict, particularly between social classes. Social change is driven by the social tension. So they looked at the view of the conflicting, the inequality, the structural inequality, and they put it out into the world that there is a theoretical perspective to look at society, that where some people have the access to the resources and some do not, and he categorized, particularly Karl Marx I'm talking about, he categorized the people into two different category. Now the third is symbolic interactionism, and that we will study in further classes as well. but in a short span I will say that it focus on micro level of individual interaction. So in these two level we are looking at a very broader level of sociology and society, but here they also have people who talked about and sociologists who talk about at a very micro level scale. Now, the fourth point is objectivity and neutrality. For sociology to be considered as science, it must strive for objectivity. Now, what is objectivity? Objectivity is an approach which is unbiased, impartial study of social phenomena. So once because the study is conducted by a human being, and being part of the human society, we tend to have some of the preconceived ideas and notion and knowledge about biases about certain phenomena. So that needs to be finished and end, and that's how we achieve the objectivity over the subjectivity. So sociologists follow ethical guidelines and scientific principle that ensure their research is free from any personal biases, ideological agendas, cultural assumptions. To achieve this, sociologists employ various methods like peer review. So whenever they do find something, they also give other scholars to look at that finding. So then peer review also help them to find that whether they are going in a subjective manner and an objective manner. Replication, scientific research including sociological studies should be replicable. It should give the result more than the time it has been produced for the first time. So next point is the journalizability and predictability. Science is often judged by its ability to generate generalized knowledge and make predictions. In sociology, while social phenomena are often complex and context specific than in the natural sciences, sociology seeks to identify patterns that hold true across different contexts, and hence we can journalize some of the phenomena. For example, Durkheim's study on suicide. So Emile Durkheim's study demonstrated that suicide rates are influenced by the social factors. Same goes for Weber's rationalization theory, and Max Weber works on rationalization of society, which helps us to explain the long-term social changes in the society, and that is how we can also predict about the society. Now, the sixth is causality and correlation. In sociology, researchers are often concerned with identifying causality and correlation between social phenomena, while establishing causal relationship in social sciences can be more difficult than the natural sciences due to the many variables involved in human behavior. Sociologists apply rigorous statistical method to control the confounding factors, establish portable causal links. So looking at the causal analysis, we say that sociologists use statistical tools such as regression analysis and establish whether one variable has a direct influence on the other. So these are more related to the statistics part that we're going to study in the third year, but here we also use causality and correlation, and on the basis of the correlations we also try to predict and journalize the data. And also there is importance of correlation. So firmly established sociologists can identify correlation between social variable. So these are also important things that are there, which makes sociology inclined more towards the science. There is also falsifiability and theory testing. So theories in sociology, like any other science, must be falsifiable. This means that they must be open to bring disproven by evidences. So there should be an scope for falsification and proving that disprove of the particular phenomena. So that is there also. And theory testing theory testing is also whenever there is a theory that come up with the study, then that theory needs to be tested a time and time again. Now again, there is another argument, that is criticism and counter arguments. These are also very often welcomed in sociology and particularly other discipline, because by the criticism and by the counter argument only you can make your discipline better and develop better. So that's also there. And now the next argument is why sociology is not a science. So the nature of sociology is not a science. So we'll look at it in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye. I hope you understand this. If you have any question, you can comment down below and we'll try to answer you in the comment section only. Take care. Bye bye. See you in the next video.